with that said, let's play. I want to play this clip of AOC. Medhi Hasan asked this question. I thought this was, this is not terribly different than I think that we have been talking about this, because it's sickening to watch what's happening in terms of our support for this, and to watch footage. There was a clip from CNN that I don't know if we could even get through, frankly, but which was that Christian Amanpour played, of a report of the latest attack on a refugee camp in Gaza, which is essentially a refugee camp within the context of a broader refugee camp almost at this point, where half a dozen kids playing foosball were struck by a drone strike. I mean, it's just horrible, and good for CNN for actually introducing these images. But it's very difficult to justify easily how you can go and vote for Joe Biden, knowing that he is so married to this policy of supporting whatever Israel does. Here is Medhi Hasan asking AOC essentially that question at Zeteo. That's Medhi Hasan's new media company, one of their launch events.
What do you say to a young progressive or an Arab American who says to you, I just can't vote for Biden again after what he's enabled in Gaza? What do you say to them?
I mean, I think everyone comes to this prospect and this conversation with a different history, different background, what they bring. For an individual Palestinian American that has had their family killed, there is nothing. I mean, I am not here to lecture anyone. I also think that this election is more, in my personal view, I believe this election is about more than the president. And also, it's not just one election that's happening. We're having hundreds of elections.
Yes.
The balance of Congress, the balance of the House, the balance of the Senate, and the presidency. And I have a vested interest in protecting democracy, not just here domestically, but globally. And it isn't, I truly do not believe this as a lesser of two evils type of situation. I think about what conditions do I want to be organizing under in the next 4 years.
Yeah.
We can look at both of these individuals oppositionally as well, depending on what issue you have. But I would rather, even in places of stark disagreement, I would rather be organizing under the conditions of Biden as an opponent on an issue than Trump, who is not, he seeks to dismantle American democracy. And I am taking that personally very seriously, because we will not be able to organize for any movement towards anything if we are facing the jailing of dissidents. I mean, this is the kind of authoritarianism that he threatens.
Fascism.
And we have to take it seriously.
I mean, I don't know if I am as motivated by the idea that dissidents are going to be arrested, although I think that's a distinct possibility under a Trump administration. But it's more the sort of less sexy stuff of the complete sort of dismantling of the administrative state and abortion rights and the judiciary. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of other things that, they're not mutually exclusive. But what do you think of the construction of that answer?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I never endorse a candidate and would never try to argue with someone as to who they should vote for. Having said that, you have to kind of think about, what sort of future do you want? And as bleak and terrible as things are right now, you are seeing an energized protest movement all over America that is, they're trying to suppress. University administrators are doing terrible things, but it is there and it's vibrant. And I go back to, the Black Lives, the George Floyd uprising in 2020. And it's, whether Trump will, set up camps for dissidents or not, we actually know what he did. which is like he cheered on cops, and especially like there was this murder of an activist in Portland that I often think about, which like Trump himself referenced, which seems like a straight out case of judicial murder, and I think that if Trump is reelected, that's what we're going to see. We're going to see the protesters are going to face, not just like people who call in the cops to jail people, but like a real unleashing of police that feel resentful for all their constraints, and just letting loose on things, along with what you mentioned about the administrative state, and that's going to be used all along the lines for any protest movements, including as Emma mentioned with abortion. Like you're gonna like the amount of state repressive power that can be brought to enforce these anti-abortion laws in the red states, and moving beyond the red states, because it's not going to stop there. I think that's a really serious consideration. Having said that, as I said, I don't endorse anyone, but I think if you're involved with any sort of left progressive politics, you have to think about the conditions of organizing. So I agree with what she said. I think that is a very smart point.
Yeah, I thought that was well constructed.